Welcome to modifying a very large twin Victoria steam plant, splitting this very heavy steam plant into two halves to make it more manageable. This is part 2, the engine room. And the first thing I'm going to need is an engine, and here it is, a nice example of a Stuart Models twin Victoria, which I'm about to screw to the baseboard using these very long screws. And my electric screwdriver. What I need to do is pull the engine over the edge of the bench, so I'm being very careful not to pull it too far over the edge of the bench so it falls on the floor. Note to self, the next time I do this job I really must adjust the clutch on the electric screwdriver. But anyway, that's one end done. I turn the engine around to do the other side. In this clip the engine is overhanging the bench a little bit more, but the weight of the flywheel makes this okay. Just the engine on the baseboard is quite a heavy thing. And I remember when I was assembling this steam plant it got more and more difficult to move it around on the bench, owing to the weight of the plant. Here we go with the piping installation. The first pipe to fix to the engine is the steam pipe. That fits okay, so now I'm removing the steam pipe because I need the engine out of the way to take some measurements for the length of the other pressure pipes. This job is very straightforward. The only complication was a minor movement of the condenser because after cutting the board in half and rerouting the edges, the condenser really was too close to the edge of the board. But apart from that, I'm reassembling the steam plant in exactly the same position as it was to start with. After remounting the beautiful brass water tower, it's time to fit the hand pump. I've screwed the mounting block in place and here's the hand pump. Originally the hand pump was bolted to this block using 4 brass hexagon bolts. This time though I've mounted the hand pump to the block using some cheesehead machine screws, which makes it much easier to fit and remove if it's ever necessary. The pipe from the hand pump consists of a piece of silicone rubber tubing around 2 pieces of copper pipe. Why did I do this? Why didn't I just use some copper piping? Well, there's plenty of copper piping on this plant, and I thought it would be a good idea to simulate some pipe lagging, which you find on full-size cold water piping. This clip shows the plant as it's going to look when it's finished. Very much like it used to look, in fact, almost exactly like it used to look, except now you can split it into 2 pieces to store it when you're not playing with it. Time now to make the pressure pipe connections. The first of these pressure pipes is the one from the hand pump to the check valve on the boiler. Here I'm marking the pipe so I know where to cut it. And yes, I do appreciate that marking out components is not my strong point, but it's only important that I know where to cut the pipe. The thick line illustrates where the centre union is going to be. I split the pipe into 2 using the bandsaw, and not forgetting to fit the union nuts, I silver soldered a union cone on each of the ends of the pipe. And here's what it looked like after I cleaned up the pipe and fitted the centre part, which is a double union. The one that's wobbling about at the moment is the second pressure pipe connection. This one connects the output of the steam-driven water pump all the way to the top of the water tower where there is a bypass valve. For the water feed from the water tower to the pump, this does not need to be a pressure connection as it's at atmospheric pressure. Once again I've used some silicone rubber tubing to simulate pipe lagging. This long piece of silicone rubber tubing is firmly pushed onto a long piece of copper pipe at the pump end. The rest of it is just the tubing which conveniently pushes onto the water tap on the water tower. While I was fitting the pressure piping, the exhaust pipe was in the way, so I temporarily removed it, and here, after I did the job, I'm refitting it. Time now to put some water in the water tank, and I'd better mention that the long black silicone rubber tubing you can see in the centre of the image is just the air feed pipe from my compressor. I'm only running at about £30 per square inch, which is more than adequate for this plant. And that's good, nothing's leaking and the engine's running well. I'm not going to run this engine for very long, but I do need to oil it anyway. So here at double speed is the oiling of the engine part of the video. This is very important indeed. You must never forget to oil a steam engine because otherwise it will prematurely wear out. Oh no, the pump's not working. Where's the Samaritan's phone number? It's just trying to work but not working. Note to self, it's a good idea to open the water tap on the water tower before starting the pump. Moving swiftly on to the final job, fitting some silicone rubber tubing between the exhaust outlets of the engine and the exhaust inlets of the condenser. The silicone rubber piping needs to be a bit thinner walled than this, but this is the only stuff I've got at the moment. Here I'm just going around tightening any union nuts I've forgotten to tighten. I usually always forget a couple. But now I can run the engine and the pump and see what happens. I've really turned up the volume of the soundtrack on this video clip that this engine makes so little noise. The loudest thing on there is the compressor. I can hear the water circulating and splashing back into the tank because the water bypass valve on top of the tank is open. I've taken off the lid and you can see what's happening now. Water's been taken from the tank to the pump and then returned to the tank via the bypass valve. When I close the valve, the water is being pumped into the boiler. And that's it. Both parts of the plant are fully reunited once again without the weight penalty when you want to put the engine away. And that's it for this very short 2-part series. I've sold this steam plant to a friend of mine, and if everything goes according to plan, he will arrive and pick it up, and at that time I will steam it. If he doesn't, then I will steam it anyway. This is quite a high-class steam plant, and in a way I'll be sorry to see it go, but all things must pass. Please excuse me, the sound of this water running into the tank is having an adverse effect on my water system. Oh, the joys of old age. And that's it. Stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.